Welcome back to Transport Fever, everybody. I hope you're having a good one because I am excited to be back. There have been some changes since the last episode. You might see at the bottom of the screen, we're currently sitting on $2.4 million, and I've recently spent about $3 million on a thing because I have an idea for something we can do with the thing that I've built. So, this entire time, I've been talking about how Philadelphia is sort of going to be the heart of everything, and as such, I've decided to build a massive train station. Now, in here, we have the capacity for 5 passenger platforms and 5 cargo platforms. I've also obviously built some roads around this to sort of plant it in Philadelphia to make it part of the, growing city. But I like this. I love how it turned out. It's relatively simple. I've not gone too crazy with details and stuff like that. I might do that eventually. But it's just a good old-fashioned train station. It's got cargo platforms and passenger platforms, and the reason I've built this is simply because I want to make sure Philadelphia is getting everything that it needs. Now, it is getting a good supply of bricks, and it is getting a good supply of food. But what I'm realizing is that we could benefit places like Fargo a little bit better if we were to push food to Fargo from Philadelphia, or whatever way we want to do it. In fact, no, not from Philadelphia. We have a place up here for food in Fargo. Regardless, we could probably get more food to Philly rather than Fargo. That's a lot of F's. Food to Philly from Fargo. Good Lord. Anyway, we could probably benefit Philly a little bit better if we had stuff moving via train. We could probably get more bricks in here more of the time. We could potentially start bringing bricks to Philadelphia to then be transported out to places like, oh God, was this the, wait, which one? Oh no. Oh no, was it Laredo? I think it was Laredo. It's been a minute since I've pronounced that. I think it's Laredo. I'm pretty sure that was the pronunciation. But I do feel like we could maybe do a little bit more to start getting things moving around. It is admittedly only 1869, so we shouldn't be completely loaded. And the reason it's only 1869 is because the date speed is currently a quarter of what it usually is. Now, I'm going to bring that up to about half of what it usually is so that time progresses a little bit faster, so that we start unlocking things a little bit faster. But it's not going to be as fast as it usually is, so that's okay. We'll be all right. But that's my idea. That's essentially what I want to do. I want to get things going in and out of Philadelphia via train as much as I possibly can. My actual idea was that I thought it would be cool to have a train line that follows the river, and then we just have like a cargo stop here, a cargo stop here. We load stuff onto the trains, we take it to where it needs to go, just up and down the river, because that will give us access to, Port St. Lucie. We can take a line over to Fargo. It gives us access to Philly, and it gives us access to Warren and Detroit. It gives us access to Oxnard and Everett, Omaha, and whatever that one is. It gives us access to a few places we wouldn't have access to usually if we just have a train line that goes along the river. So we might want to do that. I just don't know. Because what I'm really thinking is, how do I get rid of all the road vehicles that we have, and would trains generally be quicker? And I feel like the answer is yes, trains would be quicker. I just don't know how efficient this is going to be, but I guess we can find out. I guess we experiment and we see what we can do. So why don't we go ahead and see if we can maybe get the entire food production line to be a little bit more efficient. So why don't we say, instead of wagons bringing the meat from here over to Fargo and back to Philly, why don't we have wagons bring the meat from here to the train station? We'll take the meat via train to Fargo, leave some of it in Fargo for Fargo, and bring the rest back to Philly via train. Although I suppose the real question is, can I put meat and food in the same wagon? And the answer is meat right there and food right there. I absolutely can. So this can actually be a relatively good line for us. We can take both things back and forth on the same train. And I think the simple way we're going to do this is we are going to bring a train line right out of here. That's a building. A train line right out of here. And I don't remember what side the parallel tracks go on, but we'll find out. So it's going to be a train line coming straight out like this, and that's okay. We can bring it straight out to about here. And I need it to connect up with this other train line, so I do wonder if I can just do this. And it kind of looks like I can. It looks like it's going to mess up my roads a little bit, but that's honestly okay. I'm not super worried about that. So we'll go ahead and close you and build this. We'll turn off parallel tracks, and we'll do exactly the same thing here as well. And it needs to go up to about there. So that works out. That gives us a straight shot into Philadelphia. Lets us use this line. And then this is going to have to break off about here, because I need this to go straight across. Ooh, how am I going to do that? It's going to have to come down to the right, turn to the left, because I don't want to do another tunnel. These things are so expensive. Another tunnel is absolutely not worth it. So I guess what we're doing is how am I going to do this? It might have to be a tunnel, actually. It really might have to be a tunnel, because the train has to come into here unless we have it sort of come around. Well, that would work as well. And so instead of coming off at this point, it comes off at this point and goes over and around the hill. That might work. That might actually do it. Let's see if I can get myself a little bridge right here. So we want 2 tracks. I want this to be kind of raised up nicely. And essentially it's going to be this. And I think boats can get under that, so that's okay. We'll bring this back just a little bit to save some money. I don't know that I love that bridge, but that should be fine. So yeah, we'll allow that. It's going to be doubled up, which is fine. Then we just need to bring this down to ground level. So from here, we want to go like this, bring it down to ground, which is going to be a bit of a curve. So let's actually just straighten that out so it doesn't look too terrible. So something like that, I think, is probably fine. That's now doubled up, and that's okay. And then on this side, we want to do exactly the same thing. So bring this down to ground level as quickly as we possibly can, which is actually going to be slightly tricky. So this side's going to have a curve, is what we're realizing. So it's going to go like this. And that's probably fair enough. I think that's all right. Although that does make me want to put a curve on this side as well now. So let's just very quickly go and do that and get it to sort of line up and match a little bit. Okay, so this kind of works. It's not a perfect connection, but it'll do the job. The trains go up and over the water, and now we just need to bring them around to the Fargo food processing place. So we'll do something a bit like this. A nice sort of wide curve around the hill. And that gives us 75 miles an hour for this track, which is the maximum that it can do. And then essentially, I want to try and go in a nice straight line here, which is going to keep us at 75 miles an hour. And we just need to bring it over this way. I would like to keep this on the ground as much as I possibly can, because that is a little silly looking. But something like this is okay. And in terms of where the trains are going to come in, I don't know that I want this to be a terminus station. I'm going to be honest. I feel like it should be it should have a throughput. We should be able to come in here and keep going, because this could eventually link up to Henderson or wherever. So, well, I guess we could change it later on. But no, let's just very quickly disconnect all of this. And what we'll do is we'll grab ourselves a building, we'll grab ourselves a cargo station. And if I put it there, it does have a connection, which is perfect. So we're going to put the cargo station right about here. And then what we can do is go to this road, and we'll just sort of bring it along like this, and then around. So it's going to connect to like this road here, I guess. Or it could connect to this one as well. It doesn't really matter which one it connects to, but it's going to come out for a bit. We want to keep it sort of level. So just keep it going, keep it going. And then we'll hit it with a bit of a curve that's going to come over this way. In fact, can I just do that? I can just do that. So let's just do that. And that gives us a connection to Fargo. It's not a super efficient one, but it does the job. And in terms of not being efficient, I mean, the train track's not going to be super efficient either, because now it has to slow down quite a bit to make this curve. So we'll do something like this. And that is already parallel. And then this has to go that way. So yeah, it's going to slow down as it comes into the station, but that's fine. And that actually looks all right. And because it has that connection, we don't need to worry about using trucks to bring the food to the train station. So that looks all right. We probably should have just punched straight through and done a tunnel, which actually from here to there, you know, we could have just done essentially that. Would have been a lot more efficient, but a lot more expensive. And we don't have that kind of money right now, so we're going with the cheap option because it's what we can afford. And just like that, we have a few more road connections for Fargo to keep getting back out here. We have the train line already done. So all I really need to do is make sure that the trains can get in here and make sure that the meat is being brought from this processing plant over to Philadelphia itself. So what we'll do is take out this little curve, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this road straight over, though I want to make sure it's nice and cheap. I want to bring this road straight down because that connection's probably still going to be important. And essentially, this guy is going to come up through those trees, and I think I'm going to bring this out a bit. So I think this is going to continue. It's going to be a relatively major road one day. Maybe. Very big maybe. But maybe it's going to be a major road one day. And this can just connect straight like that. And that gives us a straight shot from here onto the main road and down to the train station. I think that's probably quite important. I'm also wondering if we should connect this road to this one. Like if I got rid of this curve here, that's a relatively straight shot. So if I was to go and say, you know, bring that straight over and get rid of, say, you for a second, and just keep bringing that straight over, the roads almost, well, they do collide. They almost line up. But I guess what I could do is something like that, which honestly probably should be I think I will make it that kind of road there. And I think I'll upgrade this guy. That guy's already upgraded, so that's fine. That's already upgraded, so that's fine. I don't dislike that, to be completely honest. And I don't dislike the idea of sort of extending this one straight up either and keeping that little triangle there, because what I can do is upgrade that entire section as well. So that gives us a good little connection into Philadelphia for all of this stuff, and that's kind of what we need. So now let me just put the signals in. We'll get ourselves a train, and we'll hope for the best. Okay, so now that the signals are in, the only thing we need to do is set up a line, and then we have to get a train. But I think the simplest way to do this is going to be go into here, get ourselves a truck unload stop, and that truck unload stop needs to go, I guess it can go right here. And that's where the meat is going to get dropped off. And then we just need a line that goes from this station to Fargo and back. So we'll go from here. We are going to go all the way out to this station here in Fargo, and it goes back, and it looks like it's actually set it up perfectly this first time. It absolutely has. The train goes out on the right side, it comes back in, that's okay. And essentially what we're going to be doing is in Philadelphia, we are loading up on meat. We are going to then be unloading food. And in Fargo, we are going to be unloading meat and loading up on food. And that should be fine. I think we can also, so that's our terminal. We're not going to do too much to that. What color do we want this line to be? I guess it's yellow is what it's going to be. So it's going to be yellow, and it's going to be, I guess, train cargo. It is Philly, and it is, I guess, meat, food, Philly. So it's the same as the one before. So meat to food to Philly, and that should be all right. So that's up there with everything else. I think it's right here. So it needs a train. Well, actually, it needs a delivery of meat as well, which I guess we can set that up. This is going to be weird. It's going to be really weird getting rid of this line. It's going to be really odd. We've had this this meat, food, Philly line for a while, and it is also our most profitable line, which is slightly terrifying. It's actually incredibly terrifying that we're risking getting rid of our most profitable line. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? It seems like a terrible idea. This actually seems like a terrible idea to get rid of my most profitable line for what could be a complete disaster. But okay, we're going from here to there, and that is going to be, oh man, I don't know why I'm doing this. Let's load up on meat, I guess. Oh no, and then unload everything. All right. Road cargo. It is Philly, and it is meat to train. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to this. I'm not looking forward to this. I don't know what I'm thinking. I really don't know what I'm thinking here. This might be a terrible, terrible idea. Okay, buy vehicles. I'm gonna need a few of these guys. So give me like 4 of them. Make them yellow and put them on the, oh man, the meat to train line. I don't know if they're gonna do anything right away because obviously there's no train running, but I'm curious to see if anything gets put on that line, which again, I doubt, but I am at least curious. And I suppose doing it this way, if I don't get rid of the Meat Food Philly road line, it'll keep going. And I think the way this game works is eventually it'll phase it out. It'll favor the more efficient one. So right now, no meat will be put on this line because it's not efficient. There's no train for that line. Ah, man, that's where I come in now, though. So that's where I go to this thing and say we need a train. So, I mean, we could go for this slow thing. I don't know if that'd be a good idea. It's considerably less efficient than the general. It's cheaper though, which is kind of beneficial. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the cheap one. No, am I? No, I'm not gonna go with the cheap one. Let's make you yellow, I guess, and add you there. And the wagons are gonna be these guys. I don't know what color they need to be though. Maybe just like a gray for the box cars, and we'll go 1 to, how much can I afford? Like 2 million? 56 capacity. Can I go one more? I can do one more. 63 capacity. Let's go one less. I can't afford it. Let's just buy you. Oh man. I don't know about this. I do not know about this. The train's going though, which is good. And then look in here, we actually do have stuff going onto that line now, which is good. Oh boy. I suppose the other good thing here is that this train's gonna hit this line and is going to be going to Fargo first, so it should have a pretty good supply of meat waiting for it when it gets back here. I don't know that this is a good idea. I really don't know that this is a good idea. This might backfire horribly. But at the same time, it is a train line that's going to be efficient. You know, it's running in both directions, and it is also bringing, you know, however much meat, like 50 something or whatever, and that'll then turn into like 100 plus on the food production. So hopefully that's good. We also need more food to Fargo, so let's manage these vehicles and just duplicate all of them. I don't have enough money to do that. Oh, I'm broke. Oh no, not again. I had 5 million. When I sat down to record today, I had $5 million. Now I'm at minus $500,000. This is great. That's just what I need. Oh, and of course we get a new train, right? We get a new train just as I bought that one. It is $1 million though, so I'm not actually too concerned about that, but you know, even still. Ooh, oh lovely, we had a delivery. We have some meat waiting. That doesn't seem safe. You know, just leaving meat in crates on a nice warm summer's day on a train platform. That seems like we're maybe trying to poison the people of Fargo rather than provide them with delicious, delicious food. I don't know about this. Now, what is really interesting is that the Meat Food Philly line is not getting any meat on it at all anymore. So I'm going to let that line run for a little bit because eventually it will be completely, you know, not profitable in the slightest. It's still up here as a somewhat profitable line because there are still goods on that line. There's a lot of meat on that line right now, for example. So we'll let those deliveries continue until the wagons are empty or near empty. And then what we can do is go ahead and just get rid of it and all should be good. Now, what we do need to do is make sure that my frequency and my rate is pretty good and balanced for everything. So let me sort by name real quick and let's see what we're doing here. So Meat Food Philly has a rate of 51, a frequency of 58. The frequency doesn't matter too much. The rate does. The meat to train probably needs to be about the same. Although the train technically has a rate of 31, so having the meat to train be a 31 is not too bad. So we'll leave it for now. Unless we want to double the amount of vehicles in this line, but again, I don't have money to do that. Well, actually, I don't need money to do that, do I? I don't need money to do that, because what I can do is go to Meat Food Philly, manage vehicles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and move them to the meat to train line. So suddenly meat to train is at 78 on its rate, which is pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. That might make things a little bit more efficient. We're probably going to see a surplus of meat laying around. We already have 21 here, and the train itself can carry... That's not the train I'm looking for. That's the train I'm looking for. This train can carry how much? So 56. So yeah, we're probably going to see a surplus down at this train station in... not too long at all, but that's kind of okay by me. I'm not super worried about that. So the train is back in Philadelphia. It's loading up with 33 meat and is heading back to Fargo. So we'll see how much money that ends up making. And then looking over this way, we have a good amount of meat waiting to go back to the station. And we immediately have 4 here waiting to get picked up by a train again. So I hope this works. I really do. I've also noticed we actually have some money right now. So let's go over to the Fargo line. And let's make sure that Fargo actually is getting all of the food that it needs. So we'll just duplicate all of those vehicles and see what happens. Because I am kind of thinking that what we might see here is potentially, it's maybe a very big potentially, but potentially a bit more food for everybody. Especially if I put more trains on this line, which is sort of the long-term plan. Or at the very least, I guess, I could extend this wagon. That would be kind of good too. Or the wagon extend the train with more wagons and then move more food and meat at any one time. That would be good. I think that would be good. I suppose the real thing that we're all wondering is how much money is this train going to make on 33 meat? And it was $642,000. So that's pretty good. Ooh, we also just got better wagons as well. Okay. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want is I want to come in here and even though we have so much food sitting on the Meat Food Philly line, what I sort of want to do... Oh, I've just realized that train left without picking up food, didn't it? Oh, dear. That's bad. Hold on a minute. Is this station... This station doesn't even get... Oh. Oh, it's putting it all into Fargo. Oh, that's a problem. Oh, that's a really big problem. Okay, I need to change this line ever so slightly. And I need to say that when you're in Fargo, you are... loading up on food, but I also need you to wait for 60 seconds in Fargo for any full load. It doesn't matter what, because I do need that going through there. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get rid of this line. And that kind of sucks because there is a lot of food just still waiting on that line, but I think we need to do it. So what I want to do is I want to go to my Meat Food Philly road line, manage vehicles, and I mean, it'd be nice if I could find some that didn't have stuff in them, but it looks like all of them have food right now, which is really disappointing because, well, there's one without, there's one without. So let me grab 56 and 57. You two are going to go in the grain, livestock, meat line because we need to bring the rate up a little bit. You have nothing, so you're going to go in the grain, livestock, meat line as well. 55 does 59, 60, 61, 62. So those 4 can go on the grain, livestock, meat line as well. And then we just have a lot of vehicles in here essentially, but this thing is at 62, this guy's at 81. So we need to bring the grain, livestock, meat line in line a little bit. So let's just grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vehicles and put them on there. Brings this guy up to a 71, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. And the same thing brings it to a 80. And honestly, how many vehicles are on that line right now? It doesn't suppose it doesn't really matter, does it? There's however many, whatever. It doesn't matter how many are on there. We'll move all those around and that'll be fine. I think what we're going to do is we are just going to get rid of the meat food Philly line completely. So all of those vehicles, we want to sell all of them. And then we want to go to meat food Philly as a line. We want to manage that line and we're just going to delete it. Because that should start pushing food into that train station in Fargo. And hopefully that's going to be good. Now, what I also want to do is upgrade some of my lines. So food to Fargo, for example, managed vehicles, there's only 8 of them. If I select all of them and I don't want to maintain them, I want to replace them. So we have this guy. I want to replace him with this one because it can carry a little bit more. It can go 1 mile per hour faster. So we'll do that and get those all replaced. And then I guess we probably want to do the same on, well, some of the other lines as well. But the question is, do we have the money? The answer is probably a resounding, we absolutely do not. Although the meat train line does only have 10 vehicles. So at the very least, we'll go ahead and replace all of those, which brings it to 101 on its rate, which is pretty good. Pretty sure that's higher than the train can do, which is, the train is 31. But that's, again, the idea is that we get more trains. So hopefully that works out. And hopefully this guy is going to start moving food onto the platform here. Because if it doesn't, it's kind of a major problem. Now, I will say it's very exciting having over 100 crates of meat waiting here in Philadelphia. So this train's actually going to be going with 56 units of meat over to Fargo. So that should be, I would imagine, about $1 million, which is fantastic. So if that goes well, we can hopefully get another train, and hopefully this time we're actually going to see some of that food get loaded onto the platforms here to be taken back to Philadelphia. Because if it doesn't, then we really have a problem, like I said. But we'll see what happens. Either way, I do think we are making money. I want to say that we're kind of making money. This refined oil fuel thing is sort of making cash. We do have a good chunk of slag and some fuel down here, and that's all getting moved around to where it needs to go. I think Warren is getting fuel, if I remember right. Yeah, it's not getting much, but it's getting some. And then down here, we have brick getting made. Interestingly, Warren slag to brick. Isn't that... Oh yeah, it brings brick back to here, and then the brick gets dropped off this way and taken over to Laredo. So that's all right. Basically, we're doing pretty good in terms of moving bricks around and getting people, things built. We're also doing okay, I think, on the Detroit line. I'm kind of curious to see how it's doing. It's getting a decent supply of tools. It could use a few more. But my main concern is still Philadelphia, which is getting really low on its food supply. So hopefully that picks up a little bit. And then hopefully we can do something with the construction materials as well. I want to max that out. I really want to focus on getting Philadelphia to be a total 10 out of 10 in terms of just everything that it needs and wants, really. So let's take a look and see what happens here in Fargo. We've got 56 meat getting dropped off, which is $1 million, which is fantastic news. But it doesn't seem like any of that's getting brought back out to the station here, which is really kind of worrying. I've got to be honest. Let's have a look at this line. Let's manage the line and just check something. So Fargo, it's load up on food. It's unload meat. Let's just, this thing can move food, right? Yeah, it can move food. It just doesn't seem to want to. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because it just seems like it's all getting loaded out into Fargo itself, which is weird. Yeah, nothing is getting loaded onto the train here. Can I split that? Can I tell this guy to so consumers, yeah, Fargo, transport 84%. Philadelphia is apparently not a consumer at all anymore. That's weird. Unless it's because I haven't, you know what it is? You know what it most likely is? It's most likely because I haven't actually set up a line to move the food into Philadelphia. I realize this thing is, you know, connected to the city, but the food consumption in Philadelphia is up here, which is way out of range for this train station. I'm an idiot. I'm a complete idiot. That's what it is. That's the problem. So what we can do is say, you know, no platform on the left or something like that. We'll go and throw a, we'll do a platform here or something like this. We'll make it a nice long platform, and we'll just do that, right? And then if I go in and I configure this thing, we can say, you know, cargo, give me an extra long platform up to about there. I didn't realize we could do buildings on this. That's kind of cool. Huh. I actually like that a lot, being able to do buildings and this stuff. I mean, it's obviously not going to work because there's a road in the way, but that's kind of neat. Oh well, I'm not super worried about that. We don't really need street access anywhere else either, so that's neither here nor there. That's fine. So this is where we can, I don't like how that looks, but whatever. This is where we can say that food goes from here into Philadelphia. So essentially, we need a new line from here going to there. And that is going to be a bright yellow line. It is going to be road cargo. It is Philly, and we'll just do food, essentially. So that's just Philly food. And then we need vehicles. So if I go in here, buy some vehicles, we'll go and get like 3 of these guys, make them bright yellow, and they just go on the Philly food line. And now, having done that, I have to wonder, is this guy going to start getting loaded up with food? Yeah, there we go. That's exactly what it was. That is exactly what it was. So, that means that we should, and we are, starting to see food pop up in the platforms. It might not be as efficient, because Philly is, you know, it's only shipping out, you know, a little bit, but that'll balance out in time, and that's okay. So I'm an idiot, is what we've learned today. So I'm not saying I decided to put some cargo buildings on here just to make this thing look a little bit more detailed, but that is exactly what I decided to do, and frankly, I think that was the right choice, because I really like how this turned out. And it has me really wanting to come in here and put things like fences and benches and all of that stuff around here, just because I think, imagine this, but properly fenced off. Imagine how cool it would look. Or, you know, if I go down to brush size there and start placing some, you know, a nice maple tree in that corner. Maybe a nice, I can put them on this thing. That's kind of cool. You know, a nice maple tree here as well. Start detailing the place. Make it look a little bit nicer. Make it look like there's a bit of life in here. I think it's kind of cool. I always forget that you can do this in Transport Fever. You can really, you know, go to town making a place look detailed and nice and pleasant and all that stuff. And it's very, very tempting. It is very, very tempting to go ahead and just make this area look a certain way and make it look all nice and appealing and whatnot. Also, speaking of appealing, there is a full trainload of meat heading to Fargo with another 99 right here. So if we can get the money, I need to get a second train. There was a reason I was here. It wasn't just to show you that I could put trees down. I was waiting that train coming through. But yeah, we absolutely need to get ourselves another train. I'm also wondering if I can do stuff like this and start like detailing this to make it look like we have rocks holding all this up, because that would be kind of cool as well. Oh man, I really need to not get into like super detailing all of my stations and whatnot, but it's very, very tempting. Oh my god, this game has like the ability to just place so much stuff. Are you kidding me? I could put a park in here if I really want. I could do that. I mean, it looks a little silly, but oh my god. This is too much. This is this is too much. This is ridiculous. I can put like mailboxes and water barrels and trash cans. Oh my god. That's kind of crazy, actually. I also don't know. Oh, it is just the same rotate button as it always is. Okay, so I can put like a little bench there if I wanted to. That fence doesn't line up in the slightest, but that's okay. Got like sandstone rocks and stuff as well. We've got little cracked rocks down here. A little bit of stone there. Some bushes. A little bit of life in here. Maybe a, I don't know, some kind of little apple tree. I think it looks nice. I've done a little bit of detail down here as well with some rocks. I'm going to obsess over this. I'm going to obsess over this, especially around a major train station like this, but that's whatever. I'm also assuming, yeah, this guy just had a delivery because we have over $1 million again, and we have 20 units of food on board, which is fantastic, and climbing. So we have that going for us. I'm kind of curious to see if we can make a good amount of money on this train going back, because if we can, then we're going to be in a situation where we should, hopefully, be able to afford a second train for this line, which is when I think we're going to start making the big bucks. So the train's coming back with 32 units of food on board, which is $622,000. It's going to be able to load up with 56 more meat, and that leaves 215 in the station ready to go. So we absolutely need to get our hands on another train. It's that simple. Or we go ahead and expand the train that we have, because there is food waiting. There's 22 waiting to come back. So I actually wonder if expanding the train would be the better idea. I feel like it might be. I feel like that's something we could potentially do. So if I edit the vehicle, we have a capacity of 56 right now. So if I take all of those out, I want to recolor them, is why I want to do that. And I do this. So it's going to be 1.1 million that I get back. What if I make them that color? And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to go up to 56, it's going to be 457,000. So maybe I just repaint them. That might be the idea. In fact, what if I cancel the modification? I just repaint the entire thing to be yellow. I don't know how good that's going to look, but it'll do. And then add more. And then by doing that, we go up to a capacity of 105 on this train, which is pretty good. Its performance is a little bit poor. It's very poor, but at the very least, it's able to move 105 of anything, which is good. So hopefully that will start to bring us even more money, and then we can duplicate that eventually, and we'll also hopefully see less meat getting stockpiled in Philadelphia. Because like I said earlier, man, leaving that out in the sun doesn't seem like a good idea. If this game had realism, like imagine this, well, realism. Imagine this game had a system where, you know, you needed to like store the stuff in an appropriate kind of storage facility. So this would all have to go in. I mean, it's 1874, so putting it in like a nicely air-conditioned warehouse is maybe not quite an option, but you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. So one other little detail I've decided to change on the train is to swap out the front of it for that new train that we saw a little while ago that happens to be a lot faster. This thing can get up to 37 miles an hour. It's a bit more powerful, so in general, we should be moving things a little bit quicker. And it also looks really, really good in black. It's this like black and gold looking thing. It looks mean, and I absolutely, absolutely love it. So here's hoping for some good things. It is faster, so it should be here more frequently. And also it looks like we're about to run out of space for more meat, which is a bit of a problem. The only downside, of course, is that that thing costs like $1 million. So duplicating that entire train is going to be tricky. But I'm pretty sure we'll manage, I think. So I suppose the real question at this point is how much money is our new train going to make when it delivers 105 units of meat to Fargo? And is it gonna be able to consistently make enough money for us to then buy another train to then double the amount of money that this train happens to be making? Is it even that simple? Is that even gonna work? I don't know. But we're gonna have to find out next time on on Transport Fever 2. Nailed it.